Your job was never really yours to begin with. You just borrowed it for a while, pretended it defined you, and now that it's gone, you're sitting there wondering who the hell you actually are without that email signature. Picture this. Monday morning, you're walking into that familiar building. Same route, same elevator, same desk. You've done this dance for what? 3 years? 5? Maybe longer? You know exactly where you fit in that machine. Then, out of nowhere, boom, we need to talk. And just like that, your entire identity gets handed back to you in a cardboard box with your coffee mug and that motivational poster you never really liked anyway. Here's what nobody wants to admit. You probably saw it coming. Deep down, you knew something was off. Maybe the company was struggling. Maybe your department was getting restructured. Maybe you just didn't give a damn anymore and it showed. But you kept showing up, kept playing the game, because that's what responsible adults do, right? Now let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. When was the last time you felt genuinely excited about Monday morning? Not just okay with it, not just tolerating it, but actually looking forward to the work itself. If you can't remember, or if you're reaching back years to find that feeling, then maybe losing this job isn't the disaster you think it is. Here's the truth nobody's willing to say out loud. Most jobs are just adult daycare with paychecks. You show up, follow the rules, do what you're told, and in exchange, you get enough money to keep you comfortable enough to keep showing up. It's a beautiful system, really. Keeps everyone in line, keeps everyone dependent, keeps everyone too tired to ask the big questions about what they actually want from life. The ancient Stoics had a word for this kind of existence. They called it slavery. Not the chains and whips kind, but the voluntary kind where you trade your freedom for security, your authenticity for approval, your time for money. Marcus Aurelius, who literally had an empire to run, wrote about this trap constantly. He knew that external validation, whether from crowds cheering or bosses approving, was a prison disguised as success. Think about it. How much of your identity was wrapped up in that job title? When someone asked what you do, did you say, "I work in marketing," or did you say, "I am a marketer"? There's a difference, and it matters more than you think. The moment you start being your job instead of just doing your job, you've handed over the keys to your self-worth to people who can take them away whenever it's convenient for them. Viktor Frankl spent years in Nazi concentration camps and came out with one unshakable truth. Meaning can't be taken from you, only given away. The prisoners who survived weren't necessarily the strongest or the smartest. They were the ones who found purpose that existed independently of their circumstances. Your job wasn't your purpose. It was just a vehicle, and now you need a new one. But here's where it gets interesting. Joseph Campbell spent his life studying myths and legends, and he found the same pattern everywhere. The hero gets kicked out of their comfortable world, wanders in the wilderness, faces their demons, and comes back transformed. It's not just a nice story, it's the fundamental structure of human growth. You don't evolve by staying comfortable. You evolve by being forced to rebuild. Naval Ravikant puts it even more bluntly. Specific knowledge is what you can't be trained for. If your job could be explained in a training manual, if someone else could step in and do exactly what you were doing, then you weren't really valuable. You were just convenient. And convenient things get replaced the moment something more convenient comes along. The first hard truth: you were probably sleepwalking through that job anyway. Maybe you were good at it, maybe you weren't. But either way, you'd stopped growing. You'd found your lane, stayed in it, and called it stability. But stability without growth isn't stability. It's slow decay. You were dying a little bit every day, trading pieces of yourself for the illusion of security. The second hard truth: that security was always an illusion. Companies don't care about your mortgage or your kid's college fund or your retirement plan. They care about numbers on a spreadsheet. And the moment those numbers don't add up, you become a line item to be eliminated. All that loyalty, all those late nights, all those times you chose work over family or friends or your own health, none of that creates the obligation you thought it did. The third hard truth. You probably knew this already, but you chose not to think about it. Because thinking about it would mean admitting that you'd built your entire adult identity on quicksand. It would mean acknowledging that all those years of climbing the ladder might have been climbing the wrong wall. It would mean facing the possibility that you'd been living someone else's idea of success instead of figuring out your own. So what happens if you don't use this moment to change? What if you just scramble to find another job exactly like the last one? Slide back into the same patterns, rebuild the same comfortable prison with different walls. You'll spend the next 10 years looking over your shoulder, waiting for it to happen again. Every company meeting will trigger that fight or flight response. Every budget discussion will make your stomach drop. Every new hire will feel like a potential replacement. You'll be playing defense for the rest of your career, trying to make yourself indispensable to people who've already proven they're willing to dispose of you when it suits them. Worse than that, you'll know you had a chance to break free and didn't take it. You'll know you chose the comfortable lie over the uncomfortable truth. And that knowledge will eat at you in ways you can't even imagine right now. Every Monday morning will feel like a small defeat. Every promotion will feel hollow because you'll know it's just another step deeper into a system that doesn't actually value you as a human being. Look around at the guys who've been doing the same job for 20 years. Really look at them. See that resignation in their eyes? That's what happens when you realize you've traded your dreams for a pension plan. That's what happens when you wake up one day and realize you've become exactly what you swore you'd never become. A man who measures his worth by his usefulness to other people. And here's the kicker. Your kids are watching. They're learning from you what it means to be an adult, what it means to be a man. Do you want to teach them that success means finding a good master and serving them faithfully? Or do you want to show them what it looks like to bet on yourself, to build something that belongs to you, to create value instead of just trading time for money? But here's what you can do instead. First, stop panicking. I know that's easier said than done when the bills are still coming and the savings account is shrinking. But panic makes terrible decisions. Take a breath. This isn't the end of your story. It's the end of a chapter you probably should have closed years ago anyway. Second, get brutally honest about what you actually want. Not what you think you should want. Not what your parents wanted for you. Not what looks good on social media. What do you want? What problems do you enjoy solving? What kind of work makes you lose track of time? What would you do if money wasn't an issue? These aren't luxury questions anymore. They're survival questions. Third, stop looking for another job and start looking for another way to create value. The job market is broken anyway. Companies want college graduates with 5 years of experience for entry-level positions. They want specialists who are also generalists, leaders who are also team players, innovators who follow instructions. It's a rigged game, and the only way to win is to stop playing by their rules. Fourth, use this time to build something, anything, a skill, a network, a side business, a portfolio of work that proves what you can do. The internet has democratized everything. You can learn any skill, reach any audience, sell any product from your laptop. You don't need permission anymore. You don't need someone else's platform or someone else's customers or someone else's approval. The paradox of losing your job is that it forces you to find your actual value. When you're employed, your value is whatever they're paying you. It's external, arbitrary, subject to change without notice. But when you're on your own, you have to figure out what you're actually worth, what unique combination of skills and perspective and experience you bring to the world. And here's what nobody tells you about that process. It's terrifying and liberating at the same time. Terrifying because you realize how much of your confidence was borrowed from that job title. Liberating because you discover capabilities you forgot you had, interests you buried under years of routine, dreams you thought were dead but were just sleeping. You start to remember who you were before you became what they needed you to be. You start to see possibilities instead of just problems. You start to understand that security doesn't come from having a good job. It comes from being the kind of person who can create value wherever they go. Have you ever noticed how the most respected men you know aren't the ones with the best jobs? They're the ones who built something, who solved problems, who took risks and made them pay off. They're the ones who bet on themselves and won. They're the ones who turn their expertise into independence instead of trading it for a steady paycheck. Look, you can spend the next few months frantically applying for jobs that are basically the same as the one you just lost. You can rebuild that comfortable cage and pretend it's safety. You can go back to sleepwalking through your days and calling it responsibility. Or you can use this disruption to finally build the life you actually want, instead of the one you think you're supposed to want. You can turn this forced restart into the beginning of something that actually belongs to you. The choice is yours, but here's the thing. This window won't stay open forever. The longer you wait, the easier it becomes to just slide back into the old patterns. The fear fades, the bills get paid somehow, and before you know it, you're right back where you started, just with a different company logo on your business cards. So what's it gonna be? Are you going to use this kick in the ass as the wake-up call it's supposed to be? Or are you going to hit the snooze button and hope someone else will hire you to sleep through another decade? If this hit home, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You're going to need reminders to stay awake in a world that profits from your slumber. And stick around for the next video that's coming up. You're going to want to see this one. Until next time, and I'll see you in the next video.